What's going on, everybody? GemMint here with today's new comic book day reviews. It's Wednesday, April 21st, and I have to give a little bit of a warning during this video. Typically, I don't do negative reviews. Sure, there's a book or two that come across the pull that just aren't for me, but I feel like there's a lot of books in this haul that I'm about to go in on. So just fair warning if you're new to the channel. If you are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Plus, we're doing a giveaway once we hit 125,000 subscribers, where we're giving away a Spider-Man premium format exclusive statue by Sideshow. Stay tuned to the end of the video for not only my pick of the week, but details on how to enter that giveaway. And before we get started, I got to give a big shout out to one of our sponsors. One of the guys that makes it possible for me to do this full time is Cheap Graphic Novels, a great source for your omnibus, absolutes, and collected editions. They sell them up to 50% off, excellent packaging, fast shipping, and great customer service. They also have a bargain bin where you can get titles up to 90% off. If you mention this channel in the memo at checkout for your first order, your next order will have free shipping if you're in the United States. So check out cheapgraphicnovels.com. Their link is in the description box below. All right, let's start with what I read digitally from Image, and it's going to kind of show you what a good anthology series is and what a not so good one is. We're going to start off with Haha issue 4. This is by Prince and Horvath, and this is the series that every issue is about a clown, and it's some kind of tragic, twisted story. This one is about this clown that shows up to this kid's birthday party, supposedly does a magic trick with a balloon animal, but gets stuck in the balloon and rises to the sky, and then he's in this whole abstract kind of crazy world within the balloon. Now, from the mother who hired him's perspective, he just hid in the bushes and he basically got paid and dipped. So that's kind of interesting. Towards the end, it's almost like, is that what he did? Or did he really get caught up in this crazy balloon world? The balloon seems to be following the kid to his grandfather's house. The art, as you can see with the cover, it's got like this pastel-y kind of watercolor look to it. It's okay. It's a fun little anthology series. One issue doesn't have to do with the next, and it's just kind of like a little introspective type of clown story each time. So that was Haha. Then I picked up the Old Guard, Tales Through Time, issue 1. This is also like an anthology series, or at least it seems like it is to me. This had 2 stories in it. This is by Greg Rucka, Fernandez, Wheeler, Kamanji, Miwa, and Wine. So the first story is this female warrior on the cover about this axe. And that's what the story is about, her mother's axe, which she cherishes. And it's explained that even though basically every piece of this axe has been replaced throughout her battles through time, it's still her mother's axe, even though it's totally not by this time. But that's kind of like the conversation between her and this other warrior. The other story is a story about this immortal couple in the 40s. They're a gay couple, and they kind of get like, what's the word I'm looking for? Harassed by this like army guy. Come to find out he's attacking somebody outside. They jump in. The owner of the bar is an immortal as well, and it's, I don't know. I don't really know where they were going with the story. And my problem with this anthology series is like, you don't care about any of the characters. You don't remember any of their names. Like, are they going to show up in the next issue? I don't even know. This book wasn't for me. Moving over to Kyle Higgins, Radiant Black with issue 3. He's joined by Marcelo Costa and Becky Carney. So they do something a little bit different with this issue because our main character is a writer, kind of like a failed writer, I guess you can say. And this issue is titled Writing Day. So he's supposed to be spending the whole day writing. He can't get anything going. He's trying things, they're not working. And I feel like Kyle Higgins really poured a lot of himself into this issue. I mean, he had to go through some type of writer's block or something to inspire this story, which I like, when you can take something personal and really embellish it. And the character is kind of doing that too within the book. He's kind of writing how he feels with these new superpowers and what does it all mean? What does his life mean? What is he doing with himself? And then he ends up putting out like a tweet that, hey, I'm a superhero and I'm here to help you. And he's taking like these calls to like help broken down cars and stuff like that. Kind of different from what you would have expected from like this typical like guy gets powers and now becomes a hero. So I like how they kind of fleshed his character out a little bit more. The artwork is great, as you can see with the cover. It's really flashy and bright, very modern. So I enjoyed this one. Then the last one from the digitals is Ultra Mega issue 2 by James Harren and Dave Stewart. And I feel like this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I was not feeling this issue. I really like the beginning. I like how they set up the fact that these kaiju and ultra megas are part of the Big Bang. They've been around since the beginning of time, literally, and they were in these cubes and shot off to planets, and then they hatch, and they've had these epic battles for billions of years. But after that, I don't know what the hell's going on with the main story. I was completely lost with the different factions that they're setting up. Artwork was kind of rough and rugged, and I don't know. It really wasn't. I wasn't digging it. It was kind of a chore to get through. All right, and then sticking with indies, we're going to go to Boom with issue number 6 of Power Rangers by Parrot, Mortarino, and Angulo. So you see our character on the front, right? This Princess of Evil. I think it was last week when I read her very large one-shot that really just fleshed out her character. And I said during that review, it's probably unnecessary because when we see her in the main run, they're probably going to recap her entire origin in the first page. Exactly what they did here. I wasn't digging this issue, man. I just felt like it was very drawn out. It was not fun. I wasn't interested. I mean, I guess I'm really liking the Mighty Morphin run better, even though these are the original 3 Rangers, the Omega Rangers. I just kind of felt like this was a very boring issue. The artwork was good, and it did pick up towards the end, but for the most part, I was just not having fun reading this one. Moving on over to Marvel. This is my pick of the week. The weakest book in the poll. The Black Knight, Curse of the Ebony Blade, issue 2 by Spurrier, Davila, Parsons, and Prianto. You know, I kind of really enjoyed issue 1. I like the Black Knight character. I think he's written really well and interesting. It's not like your typical superhero. But I just hate when they get really Camelot and like old timely, and this one was just so boring. They were trying to tell the story of how the Ebony Blade was forged along with 3 other weapons, and when this person chose the sword, the other 3 weapons were basically banished to the sea of blood, banished to hell. This all sounds way more interesting than it actually read. I mean, as I'm explaining it, I'm like, man, this kind of sounds like a cool story. It wasn't. I can't stand the character who was the ghost character telling the Black Knight, you know, about the weapons. It was super boring. It was just an overload of text, and I just wasn't digging it. All right, moving over to Alien 2. So this is by Philip Kennedy Johnson, Salvador La Roca, and Guru EFX. I really wanted to give this pick of the week. It's kind of like a tie for pick of the week in a good sense. I love this issue. I thought it was great. Our main character, the guy on the cover, he's retired, right? In the first issue, he kind of goes at it with his son. His son wants to be a rebel. He's part of this resistance. He's a retired company man, although he was forced out and he's not too happy about it. Anyway, we saw in issue 1, the son stole some key cards from him. They end up space pirating this ship that has xenomorphs and face huggers on it. And basically the company has tapped him that you got to go save your son and recover this last asset that's still alive, presumably something that we can still use. So he gets put on a mission to go to save his son and the asset. He requests 5 of those cyborg droid characters, but that's too expensive. So they give him some two jerk off dudes that go with him, and they're making fun of him because he's old. I thought that was kind of weird. Like, really? Like, anyway, I really like this issue. It feels scary, man. Like when you get the alien scenes, and at the end, you feel that alien movie vibe that is just like that creepy sci-fi horror vibe to it. I really liked it. All right, moving over to Way of X issue 1. This is by Spurrier, Quinn, and Targaglia. So I don't know how I feel about this one. Basically, it's a Nightcrawler focused story, him and Professor X. And again, Professor X not acting like Professor X at all. But I do like how Kurt struggles with the resurrection protocol. He's a religious guy. Is it right? Being killed and being resurrected, is it the same thing? It feels wrong to him. And now we find that these kids are kind of like getting killed, like not on purpose, but it's like a rite of passage. Like, oh, it's your first time, or you haven't been killed yet, you haven't been brought back yet. And this girl Pixie basically gets intentionally shotgun blasted to the face so that she can be resurrected. And Kurt's like, man, this doesn't feel right. There's this new enemy, this Patchwork Man, kind of like this boogeyman that's being told through stories from the kids in Krakoa. And I think the kids are like all hip now, calling it crack, like Krakoa is crack. I don't know. It was kind of cringe. But anyway, so we're getting some glimpses on what this person or this creature may be, and some cool stuff with Kurt and Magneto. It was a oversized issue. What is this? $5 issue? It felt like it was a little bit oversized. I guess overall I liked it. I do want to see where it's going. It feels very similar of a villain as the X-Force villain that we'll talk about in a few issues. Oh god, here we go. Eternals issue 4. So this is by Kieran Gillen, Asad Ribic, and Matthew Wilson. I really have been liking this run so far. This issue was crazy boring. It was boring for like the first 2/3 of the book. It didn't really get interesting until Thanos shows up in the last arc of this book, I guess you can say. I do like the twist. It's like this whole thing, like somebody from the inside is definitely tipping off Thanos because he's able to traverse through their world, and I forget what it's called. I mean, it's like the machine that makes the Earth run. It starts with a P. Help me out in the comments. So somebody must be helping him out, and they're accusing Druid, which is like the go-to trader of the Inhumans, right? Or of the Eternals. I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah, it was super boring. The artwork, I like his art style, but when you get to faces, it's like it's nightmare fuel. The faces do not look good. Very boring until we get to Thanos. All right, moving on over to X-Force issue 19 by Percy Brown and Guru EFX. Funny enough, I have similar complaints about the art style here. I really like the art style until you start looking at faces, and then it's like, it looks like you're looking at a Picasso painting. It's like, what am I even looking at here? But overall, the artwork I did enjoy. I love the Quentin Quire story. Him and Phoebe have tapped Jean Grey to help him battle a version of himself that's basically haunting their minds and their dreams. So in that sense, the Patchwork Man felt kind of similar to his villain. But I did like this issue. It kind of wraps up this arc here. I'm a huge Quentin Quire fan. They have kind of really evolved his character. He's not going to be that little snarky, smart-ass kid anymore, this cocky Omega mutant, and he puts that name in his title. He's maturing. He's growing up, and I'm down for that. Moving over to DC, and you know that means we got a DC pick of the week, right? So Flash 769. This is by Adams, LaFune, Peterson, Guerrero, and Athea. And this is definitely not the pick of the week. I really dislike this issue a lot, man. There's so much scientific mumbo jumbo with the whole Wally West traveling through time, and now he's in Bart's body in the future, and he meets this futuristic Blue Beetle character that kind of helps him, and they got to get back. And I don't know. I wasn't really digging. I felt like it was very wordy, very confusing. I wasn't really following what was happening a lot. I'm not really into the time travel aspect, and it looks like that's what they're continuing to do now with how they end it. And it's interesting the past that he ends up in. So I guess we'll see where that goes, but I wasn't really digging it at all. All right, moving on over to Justice League issue 60 by Bendis, Marquez, and Bonvillain. Okay, so two stories here. You got a Justice League and then a Justice League Dark backup. So the main story is basically Black Adam. Every time they see him, he's doing something heroic. He's helping people. He seems to be wanting to turn a new leaf and be a good guy. So Superman wants to put him on the Justice League, put him on the team. Obviously, a lot of people have a problem with that, especially outsiders, like when they go to Themyscira, where this new villain, he almost reminds me of Battle Beast from Invincible, where he seemingly could come through to Earth, wreck shit, and just dip, and he's super powerful. Who was it that he fought? Was it Hippolyta in Themyscira? And when she sees Black Adam show up, she's like, man, what the hell is this guy doing here? So I kind of like the aspect. I really dig the new villain and kind of the ties to Naomi, her homeworld, and all that's left there is the people that overthrew everybody. Only the worst of the worst are left, but they got to go there to prevent them to be able to travel to Earth. So I like the premise. I thought the artwork was good, except Superman looks really weird, man. I'm not really digging the way they're drawing Superman. I can't really put my finger on it. He almost looks like a GQ model or something. Not digging it. The Rom V Justice League Dark backup. Yes, I was going to say, did they credit him? Rom V, is it Zermancio and Ferraro Jr.? I did like it. I haven't been digging a lot of the Justice League Dark stuff, but basically they're ready to gear up against Merlin. And similar to the main story, they got like somebody else at the Justice League table, not really on the team like how they want to make Black Adam, but you got Etrigan, the demon, at the table. They make Zatanna the head of this mission to go fight Merlin. It was just a few issues, and that's kind of all that I really got out of it, but it was all right. All right, guys, let's get into Pick of the Week. It's a DC book. I really wanted to give it to Alien 2, but when I read Nightwing 79 by Tom Taylor, he's joined by Redano and Lucas, I was like, easily the Pick of the Week. First of all, the artwork is amazing. I love it. The style is reminiscent almost of like what they did with Spider-Man back in the Bagley days, where like Nightwing will do some acrobatic stuff and they kind of show him doing it throughout. Like I'm a sucker for that. The landscapes are beautiful, the colors look great, and the writing is really good. This is basically Nightwing. He's inherited Alfred's billions, and I'm almost like, why you don't give it back to Bruce Wayne? But whatever. He's inherited the billions. he doesn't really know what to do with it, and throughout this issue he finds his calling. He really wants to help people. He's almost had an epiphany like Batman in that new detective run, where it's like, hey, I was dead, and like I didn't leave any legacy behind. I didn't do anything that was long lasting. I just kind of saved people's lives, which is great, but there's nothing like, if when I'm gone, what have I left behind? So now he's figuring out what he wants to do with the billions. I don't really want to give it away, but that's basically the gist of it. And when you read it, I think you'll understand why it was the strongest title out of everything that I read this week. It just felt like a solid, complete book with a great story and a great aesthetic look to it. Let me know what you guys thought about this week's comments, and drop your pick of the week in the comments section below. Like I said, we're giving away a Spider-Man statue once we hit 125K. All you got to do is be subscribed to the channel and comment on this video and any other video where I promoted the giveaway. Once we hit the milestone, we'll go live, pick a random video where we promoted the giveaway, and use a random YouTube comment generator to draw a worldwide winner. If you guys want to support the channel in other ways, you got to check out our partners at Street Level Hero, who have exclusive variants with new drops every Tuesday and Thursday. You can use the code GemMint to save 10% on any item, and anytime you shop there, it's a huge help to the channel, and you can get some cool stuff as well. I appreciate you watching, but don't go anywhere. Check out my last week's new comic book day reviews. If you missed it, I'll put the playlist on the screen, and check out the statue unboxings, the omnibus hauls, and more. Stay minty fresh. Peace.